excitement going in?
Yeah, the first day, let me turn this off. The first day is always, there's always a level of excitement that goes around that. And we're actually starting way earlier than we've ever started. We've kind of stayed with that October 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around that week. And I just felt like the kids were like really excited to let's get started. So this is the earliest, and I know I'm as excited as I was. I'm not nervous like I used to be 39 years ago, but I'm just as excited as I've ever been. Yeah.
Paige said her favorite part of the Europe trip was eating an American burger. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like we wasted a lot of money. We should have just left her here and, catered burgers for her or something. I think she was being a little bit facetious with you guys if she said that, because the trip was great, and Paige just likes to be a little bit different than everybody else.
What are you most excited about with this team?
Like most years, I would say the excitement is to actually see what it can become. It's just been really hard the last couple of years because you're starting out under a little bit of a dark cloud, and so the excitement is maybe a little bit more tempered. But even though there's a little bit of that now with Jenna being unavailable, the one bright spot is we never had her, so we don't know exactly what it is that we're missing. So this particular group, hasn't been together. I look back, Paige didn't play at all last year. I think AZ played like 15 games or something like that out of the 37 or so that we played, whatever it was. And Carol was in and out. So I'm anxious to see how the new guys blend in. And it's like that every year, though. You have this vision in your mind of what you think it's going to be like, but there's also an unknown, and you're excited to see what that is.
Were you able to take away anything from the Europe trip?
Yeah. When we play fresh and fast and free, we're really, really good. When we start pressing and we start picking up three-quarter court and playing, with that kind of aggression, we're really, really good. And when we don't play like that, we're not very good at all, because all the things that have to get fixed. But we have a long time to fix it. But I liked what I saw when we were at our best. That looked really, really good. And when we were at our worst, that's why God invented red wine.
There's obviously a lot of talk about Paige and AZ nationally, but you have a third player who could be an All-American in Aaliyah. What are you expecting from her, and how good can she be?
Well, if anybody saw her last year, November, December, January, she was our All-American, and I thought so was Lou, and then Aaliyah just had a really down month of February, and I think that affected, how some people viewed her. But we've been talking with her since the spring about the consistency that she needs to maintain, to be the same every day, every game, every possession. And I think she is an All-American player. There's very few players like her. I think if you ask anybody in college, anybody at the next level, they would tell you that. Now it's our job to make sure that we get that consistency from her. And I had a conversation with her and Ice that until we get some sort of reinforcements from the other big guys, that's it. That's what we've got. So the pressure on them, and not bad pressure, but they're going to have to be really, really good every night. And sometimes that scares you, and other times it motivates you to be even better than you normally would be.
Geno,
That's the hope.
Do you think Paige should view this past year of her life as a rewarding experience on some fronts, and that getting through rehab is an accomplishment alone, and maybe she can come through having to sit out a more well-rounded person and player?
Well, I know it helped her tremendously physically, because she wouldn't have spent that much time had she been playing. So I think the physical part was a tremendous success. The maturing part about what goes on off the court, and things that you have to do to take care of yourself, that was a tremendous success. So her growth as a person, her growth as a basketball player, body-wise, mind-wise, however way you want to look at it, you never get better when you're not playing. But the best way to get better when you're not playing is to actually really pay attention to what's going on and see the game the way a coach would see it, and to see it in a way that when you come back, you're way better. It's like watching film for an entire season, except you're watching it live, And she's smart enough to be able to understand that.
When she steps on the court, can you sense and you see how much she missed it?
In the beginning, before we went to Europe, it was very tempered. So you say, well, how do we know if she's ready? If she won't put herself in situations where we need to find out if she's ready, because she was avoiding certain situations. And since we've gotten back, maybe because I'm not going to play anyway, so why should I? But now, since we've been back, and I think she knows it's real, she's thrown herself into situations that are just normal. And afterwards, she'll look at me and I'll say, hey, that wasn't bad. Or, that was lousy. We waited all year for this. And she goes, I don't think it's that bad for not playing for a whole year. So she has her expectations perfectly in line that this is going to take some time. So she's not going to step out there and be Paige National Player of the Year freshman year. But that's going to take a little bit of time.
She talked about sitting around for so long that she can't wait to get out there and fire up the crowd, even though you and CD might not approve of it. Do you see that energy? And how, you don't want to.
When kids don't do what they want to do, because maybe they're not sure how that's going to go over, they always blame me or CD or somebody. She's out here shooting jump shots, and then like turning around and walking away before the ball even gets to the rim. Like, I'm going to do that in the game. Good, except you missed it. So I don't care what she does to celebrate. I don't care what she does to get the crowd fired up. I hope she does everything she's thinking and then more. God bless her. Who's going to tell her, hey, you better not do that? I've been waiting, like she said, a whole year to play basketball, and as far as I'm concerned, she can do whatever she wants.
Do you find yourself looking for wood to knock on every time AZ and Paige get on the court together? And how do you mentally get yourself so that you can push them enough without worrying about...
I have spiritual beads. I was told by this woman in Hungary, she just pointed and said, good luck. So I think those are the only words. I think that was a con job, sales job, but I'm trying anything. Because so much has happened that, you just hold your breath every day, and at the end of every practice, at the end of every workout, and when you go home, you didn't get a phone call, every time we go out. The other day, we had a workout, and she came up lame and walked over to the side and sat down, and everybody like, and she just tied her shoe over again, like it was just like, but everything that happens is going to be magnified to the nth degree, So we're going to have to get past all that.
I think that was about her gratitude for being out there, and on the flip side of that, she's so happy to be out there. Has she become more of a menace to coach because whatever you say, she's just so excited?
Well, we haven't. today's the first day of practice, so ask me in a week, and I'll tell you. But she's not 17 anymore. She's not 18 anymore. Theoretically, this is her 4th year at UConn, even though she hasn't played 4 years. There's got to be a maturity factor now that I can't have the same issues that I had 4 years ago. And you don't want to be that player that you were 4 years ago. But I also don't want you to lose all the things that made you who you are. So she's. I think the one difference maybe is going to be she's not going to be as reluctant, I think, to shoot the ball as she was in the past. I think in the past it's like everybody needs to be happy. I'm a big people pleaser, so everybody has to be happy. And I wouldn't be surprised if this year she goes, well, I'll make everybody happy after I get happy, which is the way it's supposed to be anyway.
Is there anybody that's not a full go to start practice today?
Is anybody? Yana is out for a couple more weeks from all her stuff. Amari's out. She might do some stuff on the court. Amari, Yana, obviously Jana's out. And Aubrey is going to go, but I'm not sure. She twisted her foot or something last week. But otherwise, yeah, everybody else is pretty good to go.
Do you expect Amari and Yana to be ready for the games in November?
Oh, I hope. But anymore, I don't know. But I hope. Yeah, I hope both of them are 100% because we certainly could use both of them.
Before Paige realized a year plus ago what she would have to be dealing with, you talked about her needing to bulk up a little bit to absorb contact. You said you were going to lead the country in technicals in an effort to protect her. So that was a big initiative for her.
Yeah.
Where is she on that? She says she feels stronger. She's certainly stronger than she was 3 years ago as a freshman.
She's bigger. I ask her every day that I see her, like, did you get bigger? Like, she looks taller. Maybe, she's more, her stature's changed from all the work that she's put in. But yeah, this is the best she's ever looked in her life because it's the most work she's ever put in her life. And that was the big concern after freshman year, that as much as you love to play, as much as you love to spend time in the gym and all the things that you want to do, your body's not built for that. So you need to change your expectations or change your body. And unfortunately, the circumstances forced her to change it. But I think she would have done it anyway. And now, it's going to be interesting to see how much of a beating she's going to take and how much of a beating she's going to look to want to take. Initially, maybe it might be a little bit skittish, but I think in the end, and I don't want to hear any more about, I don't get any N1s because they don't call fouls because they know I'm going to score, and so they don't feel bad for me like all the guys that are going to miss. She comes up with these ridiculous reasons why, things don't happen, but I like to see her get to the free throw line more often, and I like to see the officiating be, fair, no matter who we play, no matter where we play, no matter when we play. Where if you hit somebody, that's a foul, and if we hit them, it's a foul. Not sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting.
What have the freshmen shown you in the lead up to this?
I would say of the three, KK's probably been the most consistent in her approach and everything that she's brought to the court. Ash is very consistent, but much more cautious. So she will have to play herself out of that, being cautious. She's in the don't want to make a mistake mode, where I don't think KK worries about that stuff. She just tries to make plays and makes a lot of good ones and a few bad ones. And when Q gets it going, the kids think she's going to make every shot she takes. And now we got to get Q on board with some of the other things besides shooting the ball, So they all have their strengths and they all have things that they've got to work on, but all three of them are going to play an awful lot. So that's a positive, you know.
With Paige,
For those people to think I like to only play 4 players at a time. It'll be refreshing for them to see that, you know, I used to play 8 or 9 or 10 back in the day. So I like to get back to that.
with Paige back, how do you just envision Nika's role this season?
How envision Nika? Well, if I was Nika, I'd be pretty excited. Just dribble the ball to half court, pass it, and then get out of the way. All right, give it to AZ, give it to Paige, you know, give it to Ice, give it to Aaliyah, give it to guys that are going to be able to score, put them in good position to score, and you've done your job, you know. And then pick up full court defensively and be disruptive like you always are. So I would like to think that as many times as she, you know, found shooters and found scores last year and all the assists that she was able to get, I think she's probably going to have an opportunity to do more of that. Except that Paige is going to steal some of those because of how many times she'll have the ball. But, you know, this is her 4th year, so she needs to be, you know, 20% better than she was last year.
Geno, both Paige and AZ talked about the mental part of the game. You can coach X's and O's and they can have the basketball IQ, but from a coaching standpoint, how do you help the kids, like Paige is starting, stopping an injury, AZ is starting, stopping an injury? How do you help coach the mental part of the game?
Sometimes that's just the maturity that they have to have. There's not much you can do for them other than put them out there and have confidence in them and keep talking to them about, you know, remembering who you are. Don't let what happened change who you are. And I know that's easier said than done because I don't have to go through it. They've had to go through it. But I don't want them to think about, I don't want their minds to be on anything other than I'm going to play and I'm going to play the way I've always played, and then let's just move on and not worry about it. All right, I think we got time for one more.
Geno, you'll probably be one of the few or handful of teams that people will look at initially and say they could maybe win a national championship this year. A lot of people will say the same about the men. Obviously 2004, 2014, now it's another 10 years. It's crazy to say, maybe you both should win it, but what do you think of the uniqueness of the fact that UConn so many times, even beyond those 2 years, has put men's and women's teams together that at least are in the running?
Yeah, well, you can't write "we're the basketball capital of the world" on the court and then not back it up. So, you know, the guys proved last year that they're capable of winning a national championship. It's not like a bombshell. It's happened at UConn before, and, you know, Danny and his staff did an amazing job. So that means that it can happen again this year, theoretically. And for us, it could happen. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, I'll be really disappointed if we don't go undefeated and win a national championship. I don't know that I have the confidence to be able to say that. But like I heard a long time ago, you can't win the national championship every single year. But you should aspire to have exactly what you just said, that every year the season starts, when people start talking about who has a chance to win a national championship, your name has to come up right away. And I think the guys next door, I think our guys and our team are in that conversation this year, and that's all you can ask for. And then we'll cross our fingers and see where it goes.
And you got the beads.
And I got the beads.
How much those put you back?
These in